GM. Fisher, Misha, good to see you. Yeah, I was, thinking about what it would be like to go after Vitalik, and this is about what I expected. Some amount of exodus, but hopefully it stays cool in the room because that was a packed talk. So, yeah, right. Today we're going to be talking about restaking. I think I'm going to focus mostly on kind of keeping the conversation centered around restaking design and staking kind of generally as a concept rather than focusing too much on the AI, but we'll talk about the AI a bit at the end. So yeah, I'm very fortunate to be joined on stage by Fisher and Misha. These two are leading two of the kind of huge restaking/staking teams in the space. Fisher works at Babylon, which is kind of starting to try and build out staking on the Bitcoin platform, and Misha on Symbiotic, kind of leading the charge in the Ethereum ecosystem and kind of pioneering a lot of different technology, which I hope we can get into today. So yeah, I guess as a point of structure before diving in, I'm going to spend the first 10 minutes kind of discussing technical things and focusing on the minutia of the differences between the designs that the two platforms make. And then the second half will be kind of big picture, talking about staking, economic security, and kind of like where we're going from here. So yeah, let's get started. I guess first off, I think I wanted to try and characterize each of your projects with just like one sentence and see if this sentence is correct. Because generally I think, things get lost in the details of a lot of marketing stuff, but I just want to kind of distill it into the core essence. So when Sriram talks about restaking and eigenlayer, I think of, he usually talks about kind of permissionless economic security for Ether the asset. And like there's a very strong focus on Ether the asset. Fisher, I'll start with you. My kind of one sentence summary of Babylon is staking Bitcoin. Is that correct? And if not, what would you add to it?
Yes, that is correct. This should be our narrative, actually. So to be more precise, it is trustless and self-custodial Bitcoin staking, which means you don't rely on any bridge or custody or any wrapping or price oracle to make staking happen. So it is fully trustless and self-custodial, and making Bitcoin staking the third native use case of Bitcoin.
Can you speak on what the first two are?
Yeah, the first is store of value. The price just go up. The second is a simple method for payment, and that's it. Anything else you want to do with your Bitcoin, currently, you actually need to use a bridge to bridge it to another chain, in order to use it. But then you need to trust the bridge. Usually, it's a multi-sig bridge, right? So it is not trustless. So Babylon Bitcoin staking is trustless. There's no counterparty in the middle, like taking over the control of your Bitcoin. So this is why Babylon Bitcoin staking is a native use case of Bitcoin.
Cool. Yeah. And Misha, I guess I would describe Symbiotic as kind of reading through the blog and your documentation. It seems you're trying to give the maximal flexibility to builders, to stakers, to node operators. So yeah, I guess my one sentence summary would be kind of all the opportunity and kind of flexibility of a restaking platform for any tokens on Ethereum. Is that a correct synopsis, or how would you characterize it?
Yeah, not token. Token is a side effect of that. Just protocol with the least amount of friction. Shared security protocol with the least amount of friction. When you select us versus native launch, and that's the main choice that protocols are making right now. They're not making a choice like, do I start with eigenlayer? Do I start with the Babylon? Do I start with the Symbiotic? No, this is like a really, really small minority of protocols that are looking into the shared security. The majority of protocols, they don't consider restaking at all. Like, why would they? There is a path that was walked by a lot of protocols, like billion-dollar protocol, trillion-dollar protocols. They are still pursuing this suboptimal and really dangerous path of launching natively. So yeah, the protocol of least amount of friction.
Yeah. And I guess how, kind of double-clicking on that point, how important in your design is this idea of pooled security? Because I feel like in the original conception of restaking, this kind of sharing between multiple services of economic security feels like a kind of core pillar. But lately, I guess it seems like there has been a slight pivot back away from that to something that's more like my protocol, my service has specific security that's only slashable by this one service. Do you see that as like a general pattern that's going to emerge, or how important do you think pooling is for Symbiotic's design to be successful?
Well, we are true to the original like cross-staking, shared security, and restaking after that idea. Like you can share your security with multiple networks as long as it's consensual and you have like a really good framework of analyzing where your stake went. If the LRTs or other stake providers that are using their stake mixed between different networks are like experts at what they do and have like a clear idea about the risk profile of each network, it can be managed easily. Pooled staking, I'm not sure, like the current initiatives that they look like they're like trying to counteract the bad initial design of the protocol. And yeah, like for us specifically, we don't have we are religiously try to avoid one size fits all in any way of the like in any facet of the protocol. So you can have like infinite amount of alignment for like slashing mechanisms, reward mechanism. You can onboard different tokens if you want, but this is used not because like they're underutilized or like they provide some enormous value outside of the protocols that are using them. No, it's because like they'll help align different ecosystems. Like I don't know, big ecosystems like Athena, they don't want to use a lot of Ethereum. They want to align with the governance token and their like actual stable coins. And yeah, the goal was always to accommodate as much as possible.
Yep.
So token is an outcome of that. Like it's not like super important, but it helps user to reach flexibility.
Yeah.
And when they decide between native launches and restaking, they don't have as much like drawbacks about you going about that.
Yeah. And Fisher, can I kind of extend that question to you too? How do you think about protocols consuming Bitcoin as economic security? Do you expect many of them to be like fine sharing it, or do you think they'll want their own economic security for their chain that they know can only be slashed by their validators, for example? Like is pooling a big part of Babylon's design, or is it more about just creating the marketplace for economic security of Bitcoin?
Yeah, sure. So Bitcoin has its own very constrained programmability. So currently it is not possible to slash any random slashing conditions.
Yep.
So for now, Bitcoin staking is mainly used to achieve consensus level security, yeah, which is most needed by especially smaller POS systems.
Yep.
Yeah, to boost their economic security to beyond what their native token can achieve, actually at a cheaper price, because Bitcoin currently doesn't have any yield. So anything non-zero is okay. Yeah, so that will greatly relieve the inflation pressure of the POS systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then once Bitcoin staking is enabled, it will further enable something very juicy called liquid staking. Yeah,
Liquid staking.
Liquid staking will then bring the liquidity of Bitcoin. We are talking about over 1 trillion of liquidity into the systems that are secured by Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And bring up the liquidity of those systems.
Yeah, so when someone, let's just double click on this. If someone uses some Bitcoin stake to run their POS network, the slashing conditions are such that if more than 1/3 of the validators sign on 2 blocks on that POS chain, then their key will be exposed, right?
Not exposed, it's decrypted.
Decrypted.
Yeah, exposed means somehow the key is sealed in a vault somewhere, and then if they do something wrong, someone will open the box and show it to the world. But it is not. Before you attack the system, the only one in the world knows the key is yourself. And the only place where the key is stored is your machine. It's just that if you attack, then cryptographically, your private key can be decrypted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and can you use that same stake to secure multiple different proof-of-stake networks, or do you encrypt it? Like when you do that encryption, is it just for one specific other chain that can use that economic security?
Yeah, we actually enable something we call multi-staking, which is slightly different from restaking. Restaking means you already have ETH, you stake it, and then you use Eigenlayer or Symbiotic to restake to multiple AVS or other services. But what we enable for Bitcoin is something different. You can directly stake your one Bitcoin to multiple decentralized systems and earn multiple streams of yield at a higher risk. So it is multi-staking, like one-hop staking. So that's why we call it multi-staking instead of restaking, because restaking requires 2 steps. Multi-staking only requires 1 step.
Gotcha. Cool. And kind of moving this question to the design of slashability, I think is a very interesting one. So I guess as I understand the Babylon system, this slashing is only possible if there's a kind of cryptographic violation, right? So a cryptographic violation in this setting would be you sign 2 pieces of data that conflict or have the same height on a blockchain, and that's what leads to the decryption of your private key. Yeah, Misha, in the design of Symbiotic, how do you think about non-objective slashability, and how do you think about giving people the ability to have more kind of control and programmability over what slashing happens, what slashing vetoes can take place, and this type of thing?
Yeah, well, the first concern of the industry was that we just pre-stake everything and they're gonna slash immediately, and there's not gonna be Ethereum to go around. People will be starving, and like Ethereum was gonna be like 100K per 1 ETH. Yeah, like that's why we try to design protocol in a way that there is no one point of failure and no one size fits all. So each network designs, like it's part of their business logic, right? Like slashing is like one of the most important pillars of decentralization. So yeah, they're designing like you don't have to adapt your protocol to launch on us. So we don't specify the slashing conditions. As long as 3 main participants in every like shared security protocol, staker, operator, and network agree that those slashing conditions are okay for them, and they find them valid. As long as they agree, our job is just to enforce this sort of bond. And yeah, well, to further like boost the security, especially for the starting part, because like for people that need a status update, restaking haven't started yet. Like we are not doing anything there yet. I think within like a few months, actual first production restaking protocols are gonna start. So especially in the beginning, it's really important that everyone stays safe. And for that, we designed the resolvers system, basically, which what it does, it prevents all like bug-related or like not attack-related slashings or like accidental slashings from the start. It might be anything that you want to be. It might be committee-based, like with people. It might be algorithmic-based with ZK proofs or fraud proofs or any sort of like objective system. It can be subjective. We have a few protocols working on subjective slashing and resolving for networks as a solution. So yeah, the main goal was to design it in a way that can be like started in a safe manner.
Yep.
When there is not like it was in one design, like one centralized slashing committee that can basically destroy the whole ecosystem like with one signature. We have security in the name of a protocol, so like that's what we try to do.
Yeah, super cool. Yeah, now I'm gonna kind of steer us towards, we have about 5 minutes left. I wanna talk, like zoom out a little bit and talk meta about staking and restaking. So how do you both think, and we'll start with you, Fisher, how do you both think about the principal agent problem that is present in these systems? And this is kind of a critique of Ethereum proof of stake too, right? If you look at the actual numbers, 95-ish% of stake is delegated to someone. So the person who could get your stake slashed is not actually the person who owns the capital themselves. And so like this kind of number of economic security is a bit of a meme in that really the security comes from the fact that this person has reputation on the line, they have expected future rewards for being delegated to, but the actual like 32 ETH that they own, or that they kind of are staking on behalf of, they don't actually own themselves. So we'll kind of steer that question to you first, Fisher, which is, how do you think about economic security under this principal agent problem, and is it still worth it to kind of build these systems that create a market for that?
Yeah, so let me first try to understand your question. Are you talking about the conflict of interest exists in the delegation model?
Yeah, so I guess in general these...
Or Lido model?
No, kind of all of these systems where there's a node operator who actually runs the software, and then there's someone who owns the capital and kind of delegates to them, right? And so the slashing conditions are really due to the behavior of the person who runs the node, not the person who owns the capital. So that's the principal agent problem I'm trying.
Yeah. I think we are on the same page.
Yeah.
Didn't realize this going off.
Oh no, we can hear you still.
Okay, cool. So I think delegation is actually very necessary for the decentralization of the network because not everyone is capable or have the capital to run operator. Like Vitalik just mentioned, there's an effort on the ETH side to make it easier and more cheaper to run on operator. But until that day comes, I think delegation is very important. Yeah. But there are ways to mitigate this principal agent problem. One is to have a very large set of operators, such as ETH. The other one is to require the operators to do self-staking.
Yep.
Yeah. So does ETH have this concept? I don't think so.
No, I mean,
right? Yeah.
There's no like native delegation in the Ethereum protocol, so that's why Lido exists. But yeah, there's no concept of like forcing people to self.
Yeah, exactly. But with Bitcoin staking, we can actually ask the validators to do self-staking. So if it misbehaves, its own stake will also be slashed. Then everyone is on the same boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, which can significantly alleviate the principal agent problem. Yeah.
In that design, just to kind of double down on that, how much of the delegated stake do they have to stake themselves? Like, do they have to put up 1% of as a collateral for the amount that they get delegated to, or is there a number there?
I think that's up to the market, like how much percent you put in order to convince the retailers to delegate their stake to you.
Yeah.
But usually, I would say like 1 to 2%, up to 5%, will be good enough.
Cool. Yeah, same question for you, Misha.
With this system, you'll get tiered liquid staking. So you first delegate, and then you delegate to the native stake of operator. Yeah, people find a way. Like Ethereum was designed to be proof of stake, right? But like it immediately moved to delegated proof of stake. Yeah, principal agent problem is real. But like I wouldn't say it's a problem. Yeah, it's something that you need to account for. Of course, when operator risks, it doesn't risk the stake because it's not his risk. He just represents the stake here. But he actually, like the agent, actually risks a lot of things that are like more financially like based. They have like future cash flows that it risks, and if they have multiple networks, even if they like fuck something up in one, they are like risking the business in every one of those. So the problem is like I would call it not the problem, but like misalignment. If you have those, like if you have a misalignment between stake and the actual operator of the stake, you'll get in trouble. But like this is the most important part of shared security as I see it. Restaking and like just general flow of networks will bias a sophisticated framework of like operator management. This is going to be really important because like, yeah, there is an optimization in like restaking. There is an optimization if like people building frameworks and like designing SDKs for decentralization path to be optimized. But the biggest element of all of this is going to be reputation, like open market for reputation for operators and like huge sets that you can buy and basically like buy something that industry considers to be like the top tier decentralization in terms of pure operation. When you get those, when like they're scored, the information is public, everything is out in the open, like principal agent problem is going to be less like by a lot.
Cool. Yeah. And we're closing out here, so I'll give you each one sentence to talk about how restaking and AI intersect. One sentence, sorry, not 1 second. Starting with you, Fisher.
Starting with me again?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So in the Babylon ecosystem, we actually have projects working on AI plus Web3 because they see Bitcoin as the most decentralized asset in the world. And for AI verification, especially in the LLM space, data verification is very important, and which can only be done in a proper way with proper decentralization. So yeah, Bitcoin's decentralization plus AI will make AI more reliable.
Misha?
Yeah, we have a few networks with agent inference and like other networks of this type. I feel like they have a future, of course. Otherwise, we wouldn't be like spending our time on that. Yeah, like this marks like basically this summit marks the start of like actual restaking. A lot of protocols are coming to market for real this time, not marketing. And hopefully within the next quarter or two, we'll see the flywheel starts moving and the optimization starts to increase exponentially.
Yeah, exciting times. All right, let's thank our two panelists.
Cool, thank you very much. And now, please sit for a moment. We're going to do a quick experiment. Everyone, please keep seated. We're just going to fly the drone in for like an amazing footage for the after movie, basically. It's going to be the best after movie ever. And yeah, so we're just waiting for the drone to fly in from that side of the room. So everyone, when the drone is flying in, just raise your arms, get some energy going. Just, yeah, bear with us for a second. They're going to close the door now and then open it, and then the drone will fly in. And we're going to have a really, really nice footage for the after movie.
Yeah, you're all locked in until the drone flyby happens.
And raise your arms. Oh, wait.
It went
second.
the other way.
Sorry, too early.
Rugged.
Fake alarm.
We got rugged.
And again.
There it is.
And here we go. Yee! Let's go.
Hopefully he's a good flyer.
Amazing. Wow.
That was slick.
Smooth. Cool, amazing. Thank you very much for the great panel. Big round of applause. Cool, and next up.